Fodder, a time travel novel written by Corey Gilchrist. This book is dedicated to all those out there fighting for their dreams. Take that leap of faith. One step, one punch. Repeat. Dictionary definition for fodder. Noun. A person considered readily available and of little value. Cannon fodder. Chapter 1. The freaks come out at night, or at least that's how the saying goes. An ironic proverb proven true on this brisk and damp night in the depths of the Chicago docks at 2 o'clock in the morning. The time when raw deals get done. In the middle of the loading dock bay is a fairly large warehouse that shines brightly compared to the rest of its eerie surroundings. It is currently bustling inside this warehouse. If you didn't know any better, you would think this was just your run-of-the-mill shipping factory, burning the midnight oil for all those 2-day shipping guarantees of things no one needs. When in fact, this is a late-night military-grade arms deal on a massive scale, with enough munitions and loot to equip a small army. Just another day on the docks. Spread throughout the 2-leveled warehouse are an array of the most generic thug-looking gun-for-hire henchmen who are stationed around the fluorescently lit facility. Some are armed and standing guard, while others are in a makeshift assembly line packing weapons into crates. However, as the packers were so dutifully instructed, the weapons are just cover for what they are really packing. Each crate contains 2 to 3 large white crystal gemstones, not smooth, but jagged like a raw diamond. This is where we find John Fodder, a man still firmly clinging onto the edge of his prime, in peak physical shape, but toned for the skills of martial arts of which he is an expert in, specifically the art of karate. John has an unmistakable, thick European accent, perhaps from Belgium or maybe Austria. No one is quite sure, and he has yet to divulge his family history to anyone piquing interest. Besides the fact that his father was a well-known crime boss in the city.
Hey,
John Fodder whispers as he takes a momentary break from packing weapons on top of crystals. The jaded grunt next to him only responds in a quick side-eye glance.
buddy, I'm talking to you.
Insists John Fodder. I'm not your buddy, the jaded grunt says in a most dismissive tone. John Fodder takes a step closer.
Where do you think these crystals are going?
Don't know, don't care. Fodder looks back and forth, checking if the coast is clear, then leans in.
All this firepower just to protect a couple of rocks? I've known the boss a long time. Something's up and it's big. Think about it. We're hiding contraband by putting more contraband on top of it. Doesn't that seem odd?
The jaded grunt is having trouble fitting all of the machine guns in his crate.
No. You have to stack them back to back or they won't fit.
Fodder now steps in the jaded grunt's personal space to help organize. That's when Carl Rothen, a large, heavy-set, bearded and burly man who has all the signs of a lead henchman, steps in to crack his metaphorical whip.
Fodder!
Carl's yell echoes throughout the warehouse.
Carl, it's just you. For a second, I thought there was an earthquake.
Fodder says while looking up at his longtime foe. He never shied away from wisecracking remarks, which got him into more trouble than good. But Carl specifically, he never minded poking Bluto, as Fodder likes to call it, due to the uncanny resemblance Carl had to the villainous character of the old Popeye cartoons. Carl Rothen and John Fodder sort of rose through the criminal ranks together, running into each other every now and then on the freelance henchman-for-hire market, though not always on the same side. Eventually, Carl secured a higher-up position within one of the criminal syndicates, a role Fodder should have had. Much like show business, it's a who-you-know industry. So since then, Fodder refuses to acknowledge Carl as a commanding officer.
Get back to packing those weapons. We're on a tight schedule tonight.
Fodder doesn't listen, instead leaning back on the table and folding his arms.
Why all the rushing around tonight?
Not your problem, Fodder.
Fine. Want me to stack the guns? I will stack the guns.
Fodder sarcastically replies.
Don't make me tell you again, fool.
Hey, I'm doing my job. You know, Carl, you used to be on this line with me not too long ago.
But now I'm in charge, more than you can say.
Pfft. I don't dream of being a glorified babysitter.
You best start showing respect.
Carl snarls. Fodder, who is now on Carl's nerves, picks up a machine gun to place in the crate, putting Carl on alert.
Relax, Carl, it's not loaded.
The heated conversation is about to come to a head when all work comes to a complete stop the moment the boss of the whole operation steps out of his office. Carl catches a glance of an office door swinging open and reluctantly takes a step back from Fodder.
Saved by the bell.
Carl utters, the stench of his breath invading Fodder's nostrils. Sotero Romero is the leader of the criminal syndicate of this arms operation. Slightly older and wiser than the rest of the bunch, even allowing his hair to go salt and pepper gray to look more distinguished. But don't interpret this for weakness. You don't become a boss without being cutthroat and ruthless.
Everyone, a moment of your time.
Sotero Romero motions as he makes his way down the stairs to the first level of the warehouse. He has a noticeable limp of his left leg that has been there for as long as Fodder could remember.
Quiet. Eyes up.
Carl shouts. Sotero Romero steps into the center of the group of rugged henchmen.
Thank you, Carl.
The lead henchman nods back at the affirmation from his boss.
Tonight is a big night, not just for me, but for all of us. Now, you may have heard my preamble about this before, but this shipment right here is the big one. To ensure delivery, we have more muscle walking around here than usual. Worst comes to worst, we will be ready to defend. And defend we must, at any cost. This
Sotero raises a finger in the air.
is our Alamo.
Fodder looks to his right, then his left, puzzled by the fact no one else is concerned about what they're up against.
Are you asking us to die?
I told you to keep quiet.
Carl shouts again. Sotero motions Carl to stand down.
Something to add, Mr. Fodder?
Nothing. Just remembering my history books. Everyone died at the Alamo.
Carl is chomping at the bit to silence Fodder.
They died a noble death. And to answer your question, John, you know the job you signed up for. Whether you live or die, the paycheck cuts the same.
A hard silence fills the air.
I know the job. It's just sometimes nice to know what we're risking all of our lives for.
Sotero is so baffled that John Fodder would bring this question up, he can't help but let out a loose singular laugh.
Again, details don't concern any of you. You're paid to point, shoot, and get shot at, and not always in that order.
When my ass is on the line, it becomes my concern.
Fodder isn't dropping the issue.
That's it, chump.
Carl stomps towards Fodder and takes a swing. Fodder easily steps to the side, dodging. Carl throws another fist. In one swoop, Fodder jumps onto the long table of crates, gaining the higher ground. Then with one strong roundhouse kick, knocks Carl flat on his back. Fodder casually steps back down from the table. An enraged Carl gets up and draws a pistol pointed directly at Fodder, who freezes. Their storied history flashes before Fodder's eyes as he finds himself in the line of fire.
Enough!
Sotero commands.
Everyone back to work. Shipment pickup will be here within the hour, and I want all these damn crates packed and ready. John, a word.
Sotero motions for Fodder to follow him to his office, leaving a flustered, heavily breathing Carl behind them, who holsters his weapon, for now.